Hello there. Today we will dive into Python Fundamental Part 2. The topics that we will cover in this session are as follows. First, we will talk about character set. Then we will move our focus to tokens. And lastly, we will see an example where we will try to identify tokens. So before we are able to write in any language, we need to go through its building blocks, that is alphabets, punctuations, number forms that the language contains, as all of these forms the character set of a language. Similarly, in programming language such as Python, a character set is a set of fundamental materials which can be combined to form tokens or expressions or alphabets. Following are the list of character set in Python, such as letters from capital A to Z or small a to Z, digits from 0 to 9, white spaces such as tabs, blank space, special symbols such as underscore, hash, etc. And all these character sets that are available in Python are used to form tokens, expressions or statements. So let us now move our focus to tokens. Now tokens are smallest individual unit of a program. These are also called lexical units and they play an important role. Python has following types of tokens. The first one is keywords, then identifiers, then comes the literals, after that operators, and the last one is punctuators. So let us see what these are. Keywords. These are reserved words with a special meaning to language compilers or interpreters, and they cannot be used as a normal identifier names. Now Python has various keywords. Some of them are as follows, such as false, del, for, in, is, def, while, else, etc. The second one is your identifiers. The identifier are name given to different parts of a program, that is name given to a variable, name given to a function, or a name given to a list, string, tuples, etc. Now these identifiers makes our task easier during the course of writing a program, as one does not need to remember the values or set of instructions. One can use these values or instructions just by placing or calling out its name. Now in order to name the different parts of program, that is be it a list or function or tuple, one has to follow certain rules which are as follows. Number 1 is it must not be a keyword. Number 2, only letters, numbers and underscores are allowed. Number 3, it cannot begin with a number but can begin with underscore. And number 4, there should be no spaces in between them. Now let us see some valid and invalid identifiers which will give us an idea that how to name an identifier. Here the first column contains list of valid identifier and the second column has the list of invalid identifiers. Here my file is a valid identifier as it can begin with letter. The second identifier, which is underscore ABC, is also a valid identifier as the identifier can begin with underscore. The third identifier, that is underscore A1, is also a valid identifier, and lastly A underscore 3C is also a valid identifier. Now we will see some list of invalid identifiers. The first one is my5. It is an invalid identifier because it contains space. The second one, that is false, is also an invalid identifier. The third one, that is 1a, is also invalid identifier as it begins with number. The fourth one, ab-cd, is also an invalid identifier. The fifth, b.com, and the last one is also an invalid identifier as it contains the @ symbol. Now let's move on to literals. Literals are constant values. By constant, we mean that these values remain same throughout the program. And these values can belong to any data type, such as numeric, which consists of integers, for example 1, -2, floating point numbers such as 3.5, -0.75, and complex numbers. Then comes the Boolean, which can be either true or false. It could also be a string, which is a sequence of characters written within single or double quotes. For example, hello world, which is written within single quotes, and Python, which is written within double quotes. There is also a special literal known as none, and it indicates absence of value. Now, apart from this, Python also has literals such as tuples, list, which fall under collections. Now, if you do not understand these right now, just don't worry, as we will be covering these a lot during a journey in Python. So now let's move on to operators. Operators are tokens that are used to perform some operations. And these operators can be binary, that is operators that require two operands, or unary, that is operators that require only one operand. Here the term operands are the values on which some operations are carried out. So let us see an example to understand what a binary or unary operators are. The first example here is 5 by 2. Here 5 and 2 are operands, and the / is your division operator, which is a binary operator as it requires two values, one dividend and the other divisor, to perform the required operation. The second one, -3, represents a number 3 but with a negative sign. The minus sign used here works as a unary operator as it uses only one operand. Python uses operators such as plus, minus, single division, or we may say floating point division, double division, or integer division, and multiplication to perform arithmetic operations. It uses operators such as less than, greater than, double equal to, not equal to, less than equal to, greater than equal to perform relational operations, which evaluates to either true or false. Python also has logical operators such as AND, OR, which is used to connect two or more expressions, which returns true or false based on the expression and the operator used. It also uses assignment operator, which is used to assign values to a variable, and It also uses membership operators such as in, not in, to find whether a particular element is in the sequence or not. We will be discussing these operators once again as we will move forward in our course. So for now, let's move on to punctuators. Now, punctuators are symbols used in programming languages to organize program structure. That is, they are used to organize statements, expressions in a program. Python has following punctuators such as single quote, double quote, comma, hash, backslash, colon, square brackets, parenthesis, etc. Now let us end our session by solving an example where we will try to identify tokens in a given code which is written in Python. So here we have for, in, if, which are keywords. Then we have I, which is an identifier name, and then we have 0, 1, 2, 11, which are literals, then colon and comma, which are punctuators, and lastly we have modulus and double equal to, which are operators. So here you can see that the programming languages uses tokens to form a statement or an expression, and these tokens plays important role while forming the structure of a program. Well, that's all for today. In the next session, we will try to understand these things by going through some examples. Till then, take a very good care of yourself. Bye bye.